to the Spring Shred. I'm glad you're here. I mean, really, think of the discomfort that you're already embracing and the discomfort that's to come. It doesn't come easily, the things that are truly worth pursuing. In other words, the things that really matter, does it ever come easy? Not really. Does love come easy? No. Does great parenting come easy? No. Does marriage come easily? No. Does getting in shape come easy? No. But here you are, and we're embracing a journey that's before us. My name's Tom Bush. I'm one of the partners at Thrive Fitness Plus, but my passion is not about macros or muscles. They're important, but my passion is about who are we in our minds? Who are we in our hearts? Because look, when it comes to living a life, a whole life, there's a multifaceted approach we need to really embrace that wholehearted life. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to present some things that I hope will be challenging, but will also kind of engage our hearts. So here's one of the things I believe. I believe that if I work out and eat well, but in my heart, I'm really discouraged and I'm going through some really hard things relationally, that my workouts probably are not going to be sustainable. Because, like for me, one of my weaknesses, yes, I have many. One of my weaknesses is I'll stress eat, especially when key relationships are out of place. When key relationships are out of place, I will just shove all sorts of food in my mouth. And then I go, well, why? Why does this happen? And it's because I am not aligning my full self to the journey. When I hurt, I'll try to numb away things that bother me. How's that working for you, Tom? Not so good. It's part of the journey, and we're all we're all on this journey together. So today, what I want to talk about is a little bit about transformational life coaching. I know sometimes I'll talk to people about, oh, I'm a life coach, and they're like, oh, what do you coach? Soccer? I'm like, no. I'm more of a life coach, and if they don't understand it, a lot of times it's more like, oh, you're one of those snake oil people, and I'm like, no, no snake oil. And so, what do I really do? I'd like to call myself a transformational life coach. And what I do is I help people recognize the things that they believe to be true and how those beliefs are playing out in their life. You see, we can't separate our actions from our beliefs. We will always act out our beliefs. But unfortunately, many of our beliefs we've not really analyzed before. We haven't looked at them. We haven't identified them. And so what I like to do is help people recognize, what do they really believe about things, to pull those unspoken beliefs into our consciousness and to put words to them. Because once I can see or hear what I believe, I put words to it, the power of words, then I can ask myself, is this a belief that I want to hold on to? Or have I been holding on to something that really isn't serving me? I try to think less about right and wrong. I try to think more about, is it working or is it not working? Is it serving myself and others, or is it hurting myself and others? So I want to strip away the whole thing of what's right and what's wrong. And I just want to go, hey, let's look at some things and see how it's working. And if it's not working, let's just say, I've been holding on to this belief. and it's not working very well for me. That makes sense? Well, I hope so, because I don't have time to Q&A here. Anyway, one of the things I want to talk about today is success. And um, I find that a lot of people really haven't clarified a success statement for their life. And so, if you're like me, we spend a lot of time working, trying to earn more, trying to get more, trying to be impressive, and but we don't really have a goal in mind. And so, if we don't have a goal, then I'm going, how am I going to know if I'm successful? How will I know when I've made progress? How will I know if I'm getting closer to the mark, if I'm getting closer to who I want to be? And the challenge in that is taking the time to say, this is what success really means to me. And here is my success statement. Some things, yes, this is going to be your homework, is to write a success statement. And some of the things I'll ask you to consider are the 6 components of health. In our last event, we talked about the 6 components of health. I'm going to go through them real fast here. I believe there's financial health. And yes, I think it's wise to have a budget and have financial goals to try to gain financial health. Then there's intellectual health. What is the intellectual property that I have? What are the things that I've developed, the skills that I've developed that I can use to make the world a better place and generally get compensation for? So there's financial health, intellectual health. Then there's this thing called physical health. And I think physical health is incredibly important. And to me, it's like, does my body move and do the things that I want it to do? Then there's relational health. And to me, this one is, this one just really, I'm passionate about. I've been friends with some wealthy people. And what I found is that their happiness is not any greater than our happiness. Their joy isn't greater than our joy. Because generally, the things that bring us joy are having and nurturing relationships that are fulfilling, relationships where someone really gets me, relationships where people say, I know Tom, and I know some of that ugliness he has inside of him, some of that selfishness, but I love him anyway. And I choose him even in his imperfection. So, relational health, I believe, is so key. There's just lots of people with lots of money who are just miserable because the relationships, the love that they want in their life is missing. The Beatles sang something about that. Then there is emotional health. And emotional health is about, how well do I know what I'm thinking? How well am I aware of the thoughts and feelings that are driving me? Am I holding on to the steering wheel of my life and paying attention to my thoughts and my emotions and going on the roads that we want to go on? Or am I letting those emotions and thoughts kind of drive me to places I don't want to go? To me, that's a big part of emotional health. And lastly is spiritual health. And I'm not going to get I'm not going to get too uncomfortable with this, but to me, I just want to go, um, how purposeful do our lives seem? I believe all of us have a calling, a mission in our lives. And how well am I aligning my life to that mission? Um, I believe that we're called to bigger things than ourselves. And I find that people who embrace that bigger game, that bigger story, that bigger narrative of, yes, I have a life, but I also want to make this world a better place while I'm down here. And this is one of the ways that I get to do it. When we can connect our lives to something bigger than ourselves, I find people with more joy and more purpose. So, In your success statement that you'll have to post, I want you to take into consideration those 6 things: financial health, intellectual health, physical health. What's the fourth one, Tom? Oh, yeah, relational health, emotional health, and then spiritual health. And you don't have to write something about each of those, but keep in mind all 6 of those things. Once we create a statement of what success is, you know what? We're going to be able to chart a course to get there. And if we don't have that course, then we just can spend a whole lot of years working really hard and not really knowing why or where we're going and why we've chosen to do these things. So let's embrace this. So that's my challenge for this week. Post. What is my success statement? And let this be something that drives us, that plots our course towards that life of greater joy, greater significance, greater connection. There we go. Week 1. Thanks for listening. I'm looking forward to continuing this conversation. Have a great one. See you next week.